Because she has a personality disorder.
Oh, I know.
And you don't. I know.
Oh, I know.
And you don't. Well,
thanks for telling me that.
Maybe. We'll see. We'll hold off on that. One episode.
That's
another
we
episode.
Diagnosed you diagnosed me.
That's scary.
Right. Last episode.
Yeah. Last episode when we're shut down. Hi, I'm Kyle, a tired therapist.
And I'm Jackie, also a tired therapist.
And together, we are
Two Tired Therapists.
Welcome to the pod.
One day we should do an episode. Well, I have to reactivate my Facebook, but we go and whatever that on this day is, we have to read all of our Facebook statuses.
No,
That'd be
we
hilarious.
can't do that. We can't do that because I read one today to Edward that said, it was 10 years ago, and it said, I'm rooting for the Seahawks or something because they have nice pieces of chocolate on their team. And I was like, well, there you go. Put that out there for everybody to see.
Oh my
on
God.
That note, welcome.
I'd be so scared. I wrote some unhinged
right.
bullshit on Facebook back in the day. It's fine.
Evanescence lyrics. It's scary.
Probably. It's probably about whatever. Never mind. I won't even say it.
We can't say
it.
Another
it's
episode.
Fine. Maybe we'll do that someday. Maybe it'll be one that'll sit in the vault for a long time. We don't know.
Right. We don't know. Only to be released on our death or something. Yeah.
All these Facebook. Yeah. Oh God. Ew. Okay. Anyways.
Well, welcome back.
Welcome. I guess we've started.
We've started.
Oh, okay.
Welcome to Jackie. Welcome to Chateau Kyle and Edward.
I know, it's been a while.
We are on location.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've been here.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely. Looks lovely. There's been some upgrades.
Well, I was commenting there are now real plants for you to enjoy, whereas last time you were admiring my fake plants.
Yes, I was tired of houseplants, I think.
And you were like, oh, your plants look so good. I said, thank you, they're fake. But now they're real. And look how great they are.
Beautiful. These plants are giant.
I know. Well, I take very good care of them.
Sure.
Contrary to what others may say, because okay, he's not looking good.
Oh no, he's looking at you.
Oh, is he? Okay. We have an audience today.
You didn't feel the daggers.
We have an audience today. I do take care of them. Thank you very much.
I just cannot.
Later.
It's such a weird. I don't understand. I just cannot, and I don't know why. Because I do follow everything, but it's fine. Whatever.
I know it's fine. Anyways,
fake plans.
Speaking of Jackie,
right. Oh no,
what's tired? What's going on? What's going on with you?
There's so many things that are tired. I don't write. See, you write yours down. I don't write mine down.
There's
and then
so much.
There's so many that I just think of on a daily basis. I think I'm honestly tired. This is going to be what happened when we were driving here, but people who drive way under the speed limit for no reason. And it's not because you have an obviously a car issue. I don't know. We were dropping the children off at Justin's parents.
Right.
And on the way there, we were behind a van that was going approximately 10 miles an hour through literally every intersection and roundabout possible.
Right.
And almost got into an accident because they were going so slow. Anyways, I'm just tired of people who do that because I'm if you don't know where you're going, pull over. And then you know what they did? They pulled over into a gas station, just cut through the gas station to turn, just to cut through it. And
sure.
we're okay.
They had places to be.
Anyways, that's what I'm tired of. People who go slow in cars.
Great.
What about you?
I'm going to escalate this
quickly,
if I may.
Oh, no.
So I don't know. And I don't know if you've seen these, but again, I get a lot of my entertainment from Instagram Reels.
Yes.
Like a boomer.
Your favorite,
a boomer does. And lately, there have been these videos of men, as it comes down to usually young men who are typically quite fit, but they are doing backflips, slow motion backflips. And then, hold on.
Parkour.
The reason they're doing this is because when they do a backflip, then you see their wiener. Their wiener flops. And so they show their wiener. I'm serious. This is an epidemic. Well, I don't know why it's happening to me then. They'll do
your algorithm.
Usually they're usually not wearing a shirt. They're wearing the nylon pants or not really sweats, but almost like a basketball short, but they're usually pants.
Yeah.
And they start the backflip and then it's slow and you just see their wiener just flapping in the back. And I'm like,
our motion Kyle is doing right now is really just
it's like a hand puppet.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever, you're going to have to show me one of these videos because I don't think I've ever seen a video like that, or I've never noticed.
I don't get it. Why do we I don't care. I don't care.
I just
I don't get it.
Did you hear the new, like, well, it's not new, but it's been on the news for the last couple of days where I guess TikTok is being sued by, is it Sony or Universal Music Group? And now they're not going to be allowed to have Taylor Swift. They're not going to be allowed to have like mainstream, like Adele, Justin Bieber. Like they can no longer have the songs on TikTok.
And like it'll just be silent.
And they're going to pull, they're going to pull all of it. And I was
what are the influencers going to do?
Well, because they're asking TikTok to pay what all the other social medias pay, which I guess it's really not that expensive if you think about it. But TikTok's like, no, fuck off. We're not paying that. And so now they're just going to lose all this fucking music.
Well.
So no more dancing to like whatever.
Thank God. It's about time somebody does something.
I'm just thinking about all the tweens and all the teenagers who are going to be like, dancing silently to nothing.
Right. They'll probably do, oh my God, they'll probably still do dancing videos, but they'll be like sad and there'll be no music. It'll be them like, right. No music. Yeah.
The only
censorship.
The only one I can really think of that was popular, and it was on the radio, and Justin was like, I don't even know what the song is. Was it Savage Love by Justin, or what is it, Jason Derulo? I don't know. I'm looking at you. You have no idea. That was like a big TikTok song for a while.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
If I played it, we're not going to play it because we're going to get demonetized.
Oh. We can't have that.
We have no monetized.
We can't
so
have
we're just
people coming for our hard-earned
D.
money through our podcast.
Right. We're just going to get, but that was the big song. That's the only one I know. That's the only one I can remember. All the other ones I don't know. But but Instagram will be fine because they pay. Facebook, but they all pay anyways.
Right. Exactly. Well, TikTok is owned by China, depending on who you ask.
Oh my God. Have you seen the, I guess this is so off topic, but it's political. It's fine. Did you see like they had hearings on, God, I don't even remember what it was. Like Mark Zuckerberg was there and they were talking to him about all like the child problems that have been happening on the platform, and they made him fucking apologize, and they're like, now's your time to turn around and say sorry. Hold up the pictures, everybody, so he can say sorry to your like loved one who died on social media. And I'm like, okay, here's the thing. I don't agree with what Facebook has done, but I also don't think Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg are the only people responsible for what's happening.
Well, the clip I saw was
child trafficking or
was
something.
Basically them yelling, be like, so you want to be the biggest child trafficker in the world? And he was like, no, Senator, not even kind.
Oh my God. Well, I think he handled it pretty good,
so
but one of them was like, why don't you turn around and apologize? Everybody hold up the picture of your loved one that died. And I was like,
there was one I was watching today. I don't remember who it was. Was it the CEO of like,
was it the Google one?
Maybe Google. He's from Singapore. Did you see that
one?
No,
that one's for that too. Yeah. He's TikTok? From Singapore. Yeah, he's from Singapore, and they were like,
are you from China? He was like, no, I'm from Singapore. And then they're like, okay, do you own a China passport? He was like, no, I'm from Singapore.
And these old white men are like, so you're Chinese, right? And he's like, no, I'm from Singapore. Right. And they're like, well, where in China are you from? And he's like,
they were like, are you part of the China Communist Party? And he was like, no, I'm from Singapore again. And then I was looking at the comments. You got to look at the comments because then it was like them like asking questions. It was like, have you had rice in the past 48 hours? Then it was like, what do you know of Kung Pao chicken? Oh it was so, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I just got, oh no, we were doing so great.
Oh my God, Kyle just fucked up.
I hit the microphone, which is like
Justin's
producer
about to scream. It's
Justin's trigger.
Justin's getting the knife out.
Oh God! Now I'm getting divorced. Yes. Now I'm getting divorced. Great. I'm getting taken out of the sister wives. Damn it. Anyways, on that note, we got to move on.
No more bruschetta for you.
No more what?
Bruschetta.
Yeah, shout out to the bruschetta that producer Justin brought today. It's very delicious. Very delicious. Speaking of, we got to get into
delicious.
It. Speaking of delicious, speaking of scrumptious, that you're all ready to eat up. If you haven't heard, the second season.
Is it real? I guess it is a season.
It is. It's by the
It's 6 episodes, isn't it? Or something?
Yes, I think so. The second season of The Curious Case of Natalia Grace is out, and it is. Let's all just quick box breathing because we got to get through it.
Oh, God.
And we need to do it in one part because we're not doing 2 parts.
No,
we can't
not
do that
doing
today.
This. I can't.
So you have to go watch because we're not going to talk about everything from this season.
No, yeah. Oh my God.
Just the juicy parts.
Yeah, just the good stuff.
So
I don't know. Here's the thing. Would you recommend people watch this? Because I almost wouldn't. Because it's like I would recommend them like watching like 2 episodes. There's like 2 episodes that are worth it in my opinion. No, I guess.
I think depending on how invested you were in the first season, I think it's worth the watch. And we'll talk at the end. I'm not sure where we're going from here. We'll have to. I'm curious to hear your thoughts because you watched it. You told me, but we have not really discussed.
We have not discussed
what's happened. So I'm really excited to hear.
I got opinions.
I'm not sure where we're going to go after this as far as seasons and how I feel about it. So, quick recap. Curious Case of Natalia Grace. It's a docuseries on Max.
HBO, whatever you
HBO,
prefer.
yeah, I don't know. HBO Max, I don't really know. And it's about this family in Indiana that adopts this Ukrainian child, allegedly. And after this, hijinks abound because they then say she's not a child, she's an adult masquerading, and she's trying to kill everybody. And hilarity ensues through all of that.
Right.
Basically, everyone's crazy. That's a good synopsis of the first
I think that's
season.
an accurate
everyone
statement.
has undiagnosed mental illness. And
specifically Michael.
Michael, if you're listening, hello, friend of the pod.
It's fine. Yeah, I mean, I'm not. And
it gets worse.
It does get worse.
This season.
Oh, it sure does.
And I'm ready.
We have to.
We will.
I know
we'll talk about it.
I know we're
going
to talk about certain points because it's mess.
So the first season was more through Michael's perspective. They interviewed Michael a lot, the dad.
Yeah, it was like more of the perspective of like the adults.
The adults
involved in her sort of original upbringing. And,
So this season has the caption Natalia Speaks, because this time we get a lot more of Natalia's side.
Yeah.
So we start with in this season. I know
I can't. Everyone's like, why is Jackie laughing so much? It's just
you'll understand.
You'll understand if you watched it or if you've watched it. It's just,
you have to. Yeah, people, you have to watch it. So we start with Natalia. She's been with this couple, and Anton and Cynthia, I think
the man's family.
Name.
Yeah,
the man's family, who have like 11 kids.
Oh my god.
And they all
Let's
get along.
just talk about that for 1 second. 11 fucking kids.
It's too many.
I don't think they're. I think they
adopted.
Yeah,
several.
I was gonna say some of them have to be adopted. Like there's no way.
And I have feelings.
Okay,
I
great.
have feelings about that.
Sure.
I'm not sure. I never. That's great.
Well, they like blurred their faces, but then some of them were in the documentary. And they talked
it's
at
sketchy.
one point. Yeah, I don't know.
It's sketchy.
Yeah.
So we get right into it, and Natalia starts speaking and says, "Well, Christine, which is the mom, pepper sprayed me."
Yeah.
To tell me to lie about my age. We get right into it. That's like the first thing she says. Yeah, that's like the
first thing she says, yeah.
And then we just don't talk about that for like
a while.
2 episodes.
Yeah, we talk and then that was kind of the theme of this. It was like
over.
You talked about like one thing and then they wouldn't bring it up for a good episode or more, and then all of a sudden they kind of like really lightly like glaze over the thing.
Right.
Like if you remember from the first one, well, I'm sure we'll talk about it. And I remember you and I talked about it. I was like, why did they not talk about her like sexual talk to anybody? Because they never addressed that.
Right.
They finally sort of addressed it in the second one, but they still didn't really address it.
It was
like, oh yeah,
now we just have 2 stories.
Yeah. Anyways, go forth.
So what we do jump into is we get to hear more about the family that had Natalia before the Barnetts. The Cicconi's, Gary and Diane, I believe.
Yes.
Hello. Hi, Gary. Hi, Diane.
I will tell you, I'm sure you agree, I loved the receipts for this season. Oh my God. And I'm sure you'll talk about it.
And let's talk about the true star.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the true star?
Which one?
Beth, the lawyer.
Oh, the lawyer. Love
Beth.
her. Yeah, lawyer Beth. Love her.
She had everybody's number.
Oh,
she knew what was going on.
Oh my God, I liked her in the first one, but she was really good.
She was really good in this one. So Beth, if you're listening, we would love to have you.
Yeah,
we
big
would love
fans.
to have you on.
Yeah.
But yes, you're right, and this is where the receipts start to come out, because the Cicconi's, who had Natalia before, we were told the Barnetts did not talk to them, did not even know them.
Yeah, per season 1, Michael was like, we never met them.
We don't even know who they are.
There was a weird shady, like they dropped her in a room,
but
and
we
they
were in
left.
another room.
Yeah.
Well, we find out that's a lie.
Big old fat lie.
Big old fat lie. And that the adoption was not closed. It was
Absolutely
not a closed adoption. There are her emails about the Barnetts and the Cicconi's talking.
For, what was it, 6 months prior to them,
months.
Actually taking her? Yeah.
And the head of this adoption agency, which we find out on the papers, this Florida adoption agency, I can't remember what it was called, was not where the adoption really was. It was this Gateway Woods. It was something completely different.
They explained sort of like, it wasn't like,
it was like the parent company or something.
Yeah, like the secondary company was like the ones who truly like, I don't know, took care of it. And it sounded like the adoption though, like the way that it was done was legit, at least based on what the lawyer was saying. It wasn't like a weird thing that it was like a second company. But
we were not told.
But Michael lied about essentially about the whole thing.
And there were legal proceedings.
Yeah.
That were going on.
Yeah.
So the Barnetts fully knew the Cicconi's, had talked to them for some time.
Well, and it's so funny because I'm sure we'll talk about it later, maybe you won't. They confronted Michael about this, and he was like, I never spoke to them in their lives. And Natalia's like, no, like you legitimately talked to them on the day that you took me. He was like, no, I did not do that. And they were like, come on, dude. Like,
the receipts did very little for Michael.
Yeah, the receipts did not help Michael in this one. Yeah,
right. So we also find out a couple more lies start coming out that they did have Natalia looked at, had her assessed by an endocrinologist.
Yeah, like pretty early on after they got her.
Who said she's probably between 9 and 11.
Which would have been about the time, how old she was at that time.
Maybe it's older, if I'm remembering.
Right. But then they had the dentist.
And then they had, well, so.
The dentist was the best.
But what we find out is, so they have the assessment by the endocrinologist, and the Barnetts know their results from this. And then they, went to a dentist who they also asked him, can you determine her age? Found that she had many baby teeth. Right. And somehow we got to see the x-rays. I'm not sure. That feels like a HIPAA violation.
She must have approved. They probably asked her if it was
This was before we knew like she was heavily involved.
The dentist also, shout out to the dentist. I would love to talk to him because he was hysterical. He was like, oh, really? They're like, what? They got a re-age. And he was like, oh.
Yeah. Huh. I forgot they did. They were like, well, did you know she was re-aged to like 21? And he was like, what? She was?
He like laughed.
And he was like, no.
You can do that? He's like, you can do that? He's like, that was fantastic. Loved it.
Right. So he said she had several baby teeth. She's probably between 6 and 9.
Yeah.
So there was a couple, but she's at least like between 6 and 11. You know?
And she would have been about like 7 or 8 or something. She was about 7,
I think. Yeah, they determined.
Well, never mind. I'll let you do it because I'm sure you're going to talk about the other family who almost adopted her. I felt so bad for them. Do you remember that other family? Because they had the pictures of her without the teeth.
I know.
And that was another big like kind of smoking gun of like.
Right. Well, because they had been doing those. That was the third kind of like other family we didn't hear from in the first season. And they had been doing visitations.
Yeah, it was this couple with they were little people. They had a younger daughter who was also a little person. They were interested in Natalia. And she spent a lot of time.
They were there a lot.
Holidays with them.
Right.
And they had these pictures of Natalia, and she was missing her 2 front teeth and one, and then another one she was missing like one on the side. And like, anyways.
But the reason I think they disappeared is because Barnetts, someone filed a report against them.
Yeah, there was
for abuse or something with DCS, and the Barnetts thought it was this family, and so they said, "Oh, we're done, no more. We're done with you."
Yeah, it's a little sad because they really wanted her. They really they all got along. Like their daughter got along with Natalia. Like it was really. I felt so bad for them because you could tell they really wanted to have her.
Right. And so at the end, I think it was the first episode, because of there's all this question about her age. They do a test. They do like a genetic diagnostic test to determine her age. And this comes out to say that she's about 22 years old, give or take a year or two, which
is about accurate based on how old she was.
Right. I believe she was supposed to be 21, I think. 20 or 21.
I think she's supposed to be 20 because this was filmed in 2023, so she would have been 20.
But something that I forgot to mention. So we did a watch party. My boss hosted a watch party for this. So it's a bunch of therapists in a room, and so we were talking about. Well, it's odd that this genetic test would put her at a higher age, and we said, well, she's been through a lot of trauma, and trauma does age you. Yeah. In a genetic way.
But I also think they said the test is not to be used completely accurately. Like there is like a window of like, because there is some stuff that can make you older or younger. Right. And she was like, she was in the middle of the ages that they gave. Like it wasn't like they were like, oh, she's 35. They were like, no, bitch.
But still, I mean, I think was supposed to be 21.
Yeah. Like turning 21, I think, or something like that.
I mean, still for even to be 22, you're like, okay, well then that means even if you were 22, all the stuff that happened to you with the Barnetts, you were a child.
Yeah.
You were a child.
Right. I mean, everything's basically saying she was a child the whole time.
Exactly.
And no one's really disputing that anymore. Everyone's like, no, she definitely was a kid.
Right. No, she definitely was a child.
Except for Michael.
Well, let's get to that because they want to meet. There's this meeting, and I can't remember if it was Natalia wanted to meet or Michael wanted to meet.
I think it was a mutual / producer pushed. Right. Like, you guys need to meet up. So they
Which God bless. God bless. Because
it was full of.
And he talks about, I have to share my side.
There is full of drama, mama. Like,
this first one. So it starts off already awkward because Anton, whatever his name is, the adopted dad
of Natalia,
he's like a preacher of some kind. I have questions.
That's fine.
I have
I will
questions.
refrain.
He's a man of the Lord, whether that's
Sure.
through a church of
his own making.
It's hard to say. So it starts with they're kind of like walking into the home,
Yeah.
and they stop to pray, which
Girl,
fine.
bye. I'm sorry. Girl, I'm so sorry. I cannot. That
Girl,
is-
bye.
but the
Well,
girl-
it was too much. Like,
they
do it in the car, do it on the
right.
sidewalk.
That's what I said to Justin. I was like, why did they not do this privately, like prior to walking in the house? Like,
right. But
anyways.
door wide open.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Michael's sitting awkwardly
In
2 feet away.
Yeah.
Just sitting there while they're praying. And he's just, and again, this is like a long prayer. This is like, let's pray for safety and sanity. Let's pray for the children in
Let's
Africa.
pray for them not to fucking lie to your face
pray,
again.
Right. All this stuff. So fine, whatever. And then she walks in, and then Michael's just so gross. So gross. Smiling, happy. Oh my gosh. Well, they start talking. Well, then.
Well, before they started talking, there was this like weird little, because Michael brought his lawyer from the first one. I forget what his name was. I think it's like Terrence something.
Of course.
So Michael was there with his lawyer. I think his wife was there too.
His new wife. Mm-hmm.
And so they're all like in the background. So it's like literally just Natalia and Michael.
Right.
And then Natalia's like, can we just, before we start, can we just, not curse? Like, can we not?
Right.
And
yes.
so I'm like, okay.
Because he was kind of cussing and.
But he wasn't like.
Not badly. Yeah.
Not
any worse than we do.
I was
yeah.
say not my sailor.
No
Yes,
worse
my
than
mother.
we do. Yeah. Sorry, Catherine.
But so they were like, can you not swear? And Michael's like, well, he's like, okay. He's like, I will try to do my best. Like something might come out. Like I'm sorry, but like,
right. I don't live my life like you do.
That was legitimately genuine. He was like, I will try my hardest not to do that. And so then they start talking and it's
about really nothing. First off, because
oh my God.
not far into it, he like said, oh my God, or God damn it.
No,
or,
he said hell.
That's what it was.
He said something about hell. He said something about like, go to hell, or she can go to hell.
It was something so minor. And
surely, and to be honest, that's not I'm not religious, so I can't speak to like if people who have a religious like preference would consider that, but I would not consider hell a curse word in any way, shape, or form.
No.
Like it wasn't like he was like, "Oh, shut the fuck up, you stupid bitch." He said something like, "Well, Christine can go to hell, or she should go to hell, or something like that."
Right.
And fucking Natalia's adoptive dad just loses his goddamn mind.
He said, "Look, we gotta speak respect." I mean, was just going off and talking about God and the Lord.
Well, and then that was a trigger for Michael.
Trigger warning. He grabbed his Merce. Do you see his Merce?
Yes.
He grabbed his man purse.
Oh my God.
He said, What was he? I tried.
And he like runs out of that fight, like Maury Povich, like with the camera, like just straight up.
It was, you are not the father. It was
so much that. And then his lawyer was like talking to Antoine and was like, yo, like, come on, man. Like, this, you didn't need to step in. Like, it's fine.
Honestly, agree.
I actually, I thought the lawyer was fine. I was like, I would have done it.
We did not need to do this.
But they like went out and they like tried to follow him in this car.
In his little sports car.
He's got like a little
roadster.
Yeah,
like a Crossfire or something.
And he just got in that bitch and he fucking drove
I tried.
And then they flip back to Natalia, who's like sobbing in the chair by herself. Yeah, oh my God.
Well, I mean, take his performance from season 1 where he was mimicking Christine beating Natalia and multiply that by like 50 because that's what this performance. I mean,
he lost.
EGOT. He should have an EGOT for that performance.
He lost it.
I mean,
I've
he
never
flew
seen
out of that
somebody
chair, grabbed his purse. I tried.
Bye.
Gone.
Flew out that door.
So that didn't work out.
No.
So that didn't work out.
So then they kind of like table it. Like
we table it, right.
They're like talking to Natalia. They're talking and they're like, you know what? He just isn't ready. And like, he's not ready to admit all of his wrongdoings. Again. Yeah. Oh my God.
It was a flop.
Get out of here.
So we'll get to that. We do another meetup later. So that one's good.
Oh my God.
That one's good. We'll get to that. Oh yeah, we'll get to that. So we get a little more background into Christine. We get a little more tea about Christine because from the first season, remember her big thing was helping not savants, but like very smart children.
Yeah,
who are maybe
have some type
ASD,
of disability. Yeah, maybe have some type of disability. Like,
and so she had this thing where she felt she could take kids who had some kind of disability and make them a genius. Right.
This might be my favorite part of the whole thing.
It's mind-boggling, but it all fits.
It makes total sense. Well, and how much money she made from all of that? She made millions
with
of
her
dollars.
with her child, with poor Jacob, $1 million.
Yeah,
she had $1 million book deal. She was gonna have a movie deal.
Yeah.
And this
killed me.
Rosamund Pike was going to play her.
Yeah, like
Rosamund
it
Pike.
was legit.
Hi, Rosamund, friend of the pod.
Yeah,
was going to play her.
This was legit. This was not like a made up thing. Like this was legitimately like a real thing that was going to happen.
And this was like the second episode, and I was like, this is my 13th reason. Like this is like what? How am I gonna get? What are they gonna talk about the rest of this season if we're talking about?
I know. Well,
this nonsense.
But it was
now.
funny because they talked about how like Christine went around saying Natalia was so smart, and she shocker was average,
sorry.
like not stupid, but like
that's,
average.
That's where, and I think too, they say this is where Natalia was out because once she found out she couldn't make her a genius,
she was
a liability, honey.
Oh yeah.
Because Christine, she had her organization. She made $1 million with this book. Guess how much money Jacob got? Because that book was about him. Oop, $0. $0. He got PTSD and lived in a basement. That's what he got from that.
And he has to live with Michael.
And has to live with Michael. So really the short end on that.
The true loser of that situation.
We get to hear from Natalia's school. School thought
the teacher and the principal.
Thought
and they were
she's great, age appropriate. She knew what she needed to know. She wasn't smart. She wasn't dumb.
They didn't have any major behavioral problems with her. Nothing more than like what you would have with like a 6 or 7 year old.
Right. But all these things that Barnett said, or rather allegedly Christine was saying that she was like hitting people with her wheelchair or hitting someone in a wheelchair or telling people to like fuck off or I don't know. And the school was like,
no, we had no problems with her. Happened. Like she was really lovely. Like.
So then that's when she got pulled from school. And I think because they were like, oh, they see the truth. So we got to take her out of there now.
Yeah.
And this was the tea. We find out that Christine had forged Jacob's transcripts.
She forged a lot of things.
But like giving him an A in like Greek mythology and like
and did the same
violin.
for Natalia for like a hot second. But there was so many like extracurricular.
So not to say that he wasn't smart, but he was not as smart as that. Perhaps.
Yeah, it was like, what was it? It was the Greek mythology. It was like
classic
violin or something like
that.
It was all these ridiculous class names.
Right.
And you're like, there's no way this kid is like.
And there wasn't.
No, he wasn't. It was so sad.
Oh. So it ends up that Natalia's a bad investment. Like they thought they'd get this little girl.
I mean, that's what they basically said.
Who would be because she needed surgery.
Yeah, she had a lot of medical issues. So
but the tea with that is because they didn't know her age or wouldn't be honest about her age. None of the surgeons would touch her because they're like, well, we don't know what surgery to do.
Well, I thought
what you do for a 9-year-old is different than what you do for an 18-year-old.
That's true. Well, and I also thought it partially was because they weren't really like, because she needed like specialized shoes or something because her feet hurt, but they wouldn't buy them for her. So they were like also actively making everything worse for her by not getting the equipment or whatever that she needed. And so then that was also playing
because
into
that took from the bottom dollar that they would get.
Right. Because like I guess what did they say? One of the surgeries was like $30,000 or something like that. And it was anyways.
Sure. So basically, we find and we also find out her the book that she made with Jacob. She had initially in her draft put in Natalia's adoption, and then
talked about it.
Took it out
because
after
that
all
didn't
this.
Happen. Yeah. They took it out because she was not doing because she was like writing Natalia was like a genius also, and she's so gifted with like these children.
Right. And she wasn't. Which
how like self-delulu do you have to be to like really do that? Because that's really I cannot imagine myself being like, let me write this book about how smart I am and how good I am at like raising. Like I just can't imagine like doing that
because she has a personality disorder.
Oh, I know,
and you don't. Well,
thanks for telling me that.
Maybe we'll see. We'll hold off on that. One episode. That's another.
We diagnosed you diagnosed me.
That's scary.
Right. Last episode.
Last episode when we're shut down. So, and then all these lies. I'm not going to get into some of these things, but we learned
just know that there was a lot of lies.
We learn more about what allegedly. I don't know. It's hard because again, this is all coming from Michael and saying like.
It is hard to trust Michael because there's just so many things that they bring up that he lied about, but also like some of the stuff is kind of compelling, and they do agree on some very small parts of all of the things that happened over time. They do agree on some stuff, so like that makes it also like a little bit more.
Which granted,
rough.
She was young too, so she may not remember some of this stuff.
What's your maybe I don't know. Maybe we're gonna talk about this later. What's your take on Natalia? Like, what do you think? Like, what's your?
I don't know. See,
I have a thought.
What do you think?
So okay. This is what I said to Justin, and I will say it to this podcast. I'm not trying to say like none of this stuff happened to her. I'm not trying to pull away from probably the lots of trauma that she experienced in her life. There is also something not 100% right with her. And when I say right, I don't mean like mental illness. I mean like
she's playing a game too.
Yeah, there's something like off about the way that she talks, because like there are times where she's like talking about stuff that clearly it's very traumatic. She's crying, like it's very hard for her to talk about. And I felt kind of like this documentary was a little rough in that regard, that they didn't really try to like protect her or like not talk to her about that stuff, or like get somebody else to talk about it.
Right.
But then there were other times she was talking about things that were, I would consider even more traumatic than the stuff she was crying about. And she was like, I want fucking justice. And, well, she didn't say fucking.
Yeah,
she was like, I want justice, and Michael needs to pay for this. And I'm just like, and that's all like a normal like reaction to that. But I don't know, like something just felt so like performative about it, I guess. Like it was a little off. Like, I don't know.
I think there's a different set of parents pulling the strings this time around. Oops.
Well, and I think there's some of that too, because it's money, it's things that are coming in. Like but something, and I don't mean it in like a negative way, like she's evil or wrong. I just like there's something off about it. Like there was something weird.
I think I think you see that more in her second meeting with Michael, where at first you're like,
she's kind of like, she's like, so like, tell me like, like why the fuck did you do this?
Basically.
And then like, but then she'll be like sobbing the next
minute.
But
it's at the right moment, because
it's at the very right.
Because we'll talk at first, you think like, oh shit, Michael's got her. But then she like, so what's the tea? And he's like, oh, oops.
Oopsies.
Like they're both playing a game, and it's gonna see who wins.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I just needed to know what your opinion was.
Yeah. There's some fishy.
Oh yeah.
So we do, as we get through more episodes, we start hearing some of these big stories. We hear them from Natalia's point of view.
Sure.
So the time where Natalia allegedly put cleaning supplies in Christine's coffee.
That made me laugh out loud. That I believe. Exactly how it happened.
Because Natalia said that didn't happen. Really, it like we were cleaning together, and then all of a sudden Christine says,
she was like,
pretend to put this in here, and I'm going to videotape you
doing it, yeah,
and then yell at you.
Well, I'm like, and Natalia was like, yeah, she was teaching me how to clean. Like, she walked out of the room, so she asked me to clean the table. The coffee was on the table. She goes, I sprayed. It was like Pledge or some like wood cleaner.
Yeah, like a spray.
Yeah, and she was like, I sprayed it, but it didn't get anywhere near her coffee. Like, I sprayed it, and then I wiped on the. And she freaked out when she came back, and then she wanted me to
do it again.
Yeah,
and
and recorded it. Yeah,
but then they were saying that they found matches and alcohol under her bed. And then there was a neighbor or two that said, yeah, they did find this because I was there.
Did you love the confrontation with the one neighbor from Natalia? I was so mad about that. I don't even know why, because I thought Natalia was a fucking dick to her. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I get where she's coming from, but it's like, she was like, why didn't you do anything to like stop this? And it's like, this neighbor only knew what your mom was telling you.
Well, and she said, I was scared of Christine.
Well, and it's like, I was telling Justin, I was like, I can't imagine being a neighbor of somebody with a kid where I would feel like it was okay to go and ask that kid, hey, are you being like, unless I really thought something was going on, which from what Christine was telling her, it was like Natalia was being crazy.
Right.
Like, I don't know that I ever would go, like, I don't know, like I felt really bad for that neighbor, because you could tell, and Natalia was kind of rude to her at first. She was just like, well, fuck you, and like, why didn't you do?
I don't know if Natalia's been to therapy or not. She probably needs to. Natalia, if you're listening,
she's gone to the therapy of the Lord, I think.
Oh my.
Sorry, that's what it is.
That's what that is. So then Natalia's mad about the whole knife situation, that she was holding a knife at the edge of the bed.
Oh yeah, that was really funny.
She thinks they literally copied that off of the movie The Orphan, and she said that the orphan should sue the Barnetts because they stole that. Right. And she shows how she can't hold a knife.
Yeah, she
couldn't.
She let him.
And
yeah,
she's
she
like,
can't.
There's no way I can barely hold this, let alone stab somebody.
Yeah, because her hands are like she's got some issue with her hands. Like, it's you see it and you're like, okay, yeah, there's no way.
She talks about LaRue, said that was awful, which big shocker.
Not surprising, having been inside of it. It's not nice. But they also like I was like, why didn't she talk more about like her time there? Like they talked a little bit about it, and she was like, I kind of don't remember it, and I was in the room by myself a lot, but that's not what everybody else said who was there.
Right. Said she was like prostituting basically,
right,
hitting on people.
Well, she kind of addressed it, and she was like, I guess if I was, she's like, I don't remember saying stuff like that. She's like, but I guess I was like, maybe I was just like doing it for attention or something like that. And I'm like, you're like, okay, you're maybe 8 years old at this point. You're not going to be talking sexually about like, I mean, maybe, but.
Well, unless she was exposed to it there and then adopted that.
You know what I just realized they never talked to her about was the fucking the creamery incident. They never talked to her about that.
The creamery incident, they didn't. Damn it.
Natalia,
write in.
Yeah, please comment.
So then we get to the apartment where we confirmed she's 8 years old at the
Sure.
apartment. We get to visit with Sue, the neighbor Sue again, and
Sue
Sue
has
was
a-
pulling all the punches.
Sue gives no fucks
She was
this
holding
time
no.
around. She was
They
like,
were
she's-
showing like interviews with Natalia where she was saying like nobody talked to me, nobody
yeah.
helped me, and Sue was like,
No, this bitch is an
this
adult.
bitch is crazy. Like literally no.
They did ask her about
no
that
compassion.
that situation where she was allegedly like touching the neighbor's grandson, and she goes, we were just playing. She was like, I didn't
Right.
I
She was like, that didn't happen.
She goes, I didn't touch his pants, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, I don't know what I believe, because
I know
because these people who have no gain from this, like, why would they make that up? Like, why would they make that up?
Right. But then she tells a story that there was this weird guy that she would go to his place and he would be watching like porn and he would be like, it's cool, you can watch it. I don't know. I don't know.
I believe that
I
happened.
do.
And then the neighbor said, yeah, there was this really creepy guy.
She was like,
who
yeah,
kinda
he was weird.
And they were like, he was kind of weird, and like one of them like went to his house and he was like naked or something.
Yeah.
Like she went up and like was, and I
Yeah.
was like, okay, I don't know. I was like,
It's
okay.
right. It's one of those situations. Nobody wins. Nobody's
She's
a winner.
like, thankfully I wasn't like molested, but like trigger
Right.
warning. She was like, I wasn't molested, but like that was kind of weird. And I was like, did you get molested though? Because like this
Right.
really screams to me like sexual abuse.
Right.
Like,
What's
this
going
whole
on?
thing does like, ugh,
Yeah.
rough.
Yeah. And then Natalia tells a story about Christine was giving her medications, like for mental health, because she was crazy and everything.
Yeah.
But my thought was, she was probably getting heavily drugged because at this time she was an adult, right? She had been re-aged at this point. I believe.
So she's
she's probably getting adult doses of some
hefty
good
psych
stuff.
meds. Yeah,
So-
I really wish they would have said exactly what she was on. I was like, I'm really curious, but I'm wondering if they purposely didn't like leave that out,
because all the things they talked about, like her being like schizophrenic and all this stuff, like she was probably on some good stuff. And then they were saying like sometimes she'd get a double dose, sometimes she'd miss a dose or two and then double dose. Like, girl was probably blitzed on some mental health meds.
She was.
So maybe that's why.
Those,
she
I mean,
doesn't
yeah,
know
that
this
shit is
either.
strong. Like,
I
even
know.
for an adult, like, you got to be really careful with, like, especially like antipsychotic meds.
Right.
If that's what she was prescribed, you got to be very careful.
And even though
with
she
that.
was an adult,
No,
was
but she
not
was,
an
like-
adult. She was a child, and she still has this.
Well, and then didn't she talk about like possibly like Christine almost made her overdose? Like there was like a
Because she
point
just kept
where
giving it to her.
yeah, kept giving her meds, and then like
she probably
was,
hoped she would die.
Well, and that's what
And then be
that's
like,
what
"Oh, she took too
Natalia
many
said.
meds."
She was like, I think she was trying to actually kill me.
Oh, I'm sure.
And I'm like,
I'm sure.
that's probably accurate. I
I'm
mean, I
sure.
don't know. It just
Oh,
it just
absolutely.
didn't work.
Would not surprise me at all. But yeah, but even for her then to have that tiny body, I mean, if I took an adult dose of something, I would probably die. Like, I have to take like baby doses of things. So
Oh, yeah. I felt bad for her. I was like, that is.
It was
really
sad,
shitty.
yeah. Let's take a break. We're about halfway through what we need to get to, and then we'll continue our journey together.
Okay.
We'll be right back. Welcome back.
Welcome.
After a
violent
violent
and loud break. That sounds bad.
not really that bad.
No, not
Not really that bad. But are there marriages in jeopardy? Maybe.
Maybe. We'll see.
It's hard to say. Producer Justin is currently writing his resignation.
Right.
As the producer.
The manifesto.
The manifesto. And anyone named Jackie should die. Yeah.
Oh my
Great.
God.
Well, speaking of death, let's get back to Natalia Grace. We're going to skip ahead. I'm going to skip
There's a lot of
one episode that really goes into what was going on with the Barnetts. Were they up to something? Were they not? Did they know what they were doing? Did they not?
/ like them in Canada versus them not
Yes.
in Canada. Anyways, it's
Right.
not worth getting into because it's a lot.
And then there was more about the orphanage in Ukraine, but really not. They kind of
They
said
didn't-
there was more, but
didn't-
really
it was-
it really left more
yeah.
questions.
Yeah.
But we want to make some time for meeting of Michael and Natalia round 2. And I think the most important thing we have to talk about in this is the teenage dirtbag attire that Michael was wearing.
I was gonna say when you talk about the hat, the shirt,
all of it,
like
the like jersey,
jeans,
the baggy jeans, the
Air Jordan sneakers,
the hat like on backwards,
that him rolling the fuck up, like blasting his music again, door wide open. They're just like, here we go,
here we go,
then he
here we go.
Runs out of the car. I told Justin, I said, wouldn't you like take a beat before you got out of the car and be like, this man just like rolled up, music blasting.
No, he said it's on, bitch.
And then he like turned off the car, got out, and like ran the fucking. It didn't even like. I thought that was weird.
It was
anyways.
Yeah. Well, the whole thing was terrible. So he's trying to loop himself in as the victim with Natalia. You know, he's trying to be like it was Christine against us.
Oh, right. We had the same abuser, which is a fair statement to make, but instead of the biggest issue the biggest issue with the whole thing was that he wasn't like, you know what. I definitely fucked up. I didn't help you.
Yes.
I'm very sorry.
It was all Christine. He takes zero responsibility. No responsibility. She's evil and deserves every letter of it. Like that came back. Evil, like
I forgot about that until he said that. I was like, oh yeah, that's right.
So it was all Christine. He's even and she's even saying, well, why didn't you like say something? Why didn't you call somebody? Why didn't you stop her?
Right.
And he's just like, no, I was a victim too. It was. And
mess.
This is where I said earlier, this is where I was worried because they start bonding over that. They like trauma bond.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And they're like laughing together. And I was like, girl, you in danger.
Yeah, because it started out contentious. It started out like really, and she was like, she like rolls back in her chair and is like, so tell me.
Yeah.
Why didn't you do shit for me?
Right, but he's basically like, but he's like, oh no, it's not me. And
the whole thing would have gone faster if he would have just said, you know what, I fucked up and I didn't help you.
But that wasn't.
And I was going through my own shit, which is not an excuse not to protect you.
No,
right.
But
no. We had to deflect.
And he did.
It was like, what is it? Is it the Darvo? It was like deny, accuse, reverse, whatever. Like
all those. I don't know. Yeah, all those.
It's like how you gaslight someone.
And even on the hard hitting questions, he would deflect and be like, oh,
he'd pretend to get so emotional he couldn't talk about it.
Disgusting. But this is where then we said like, I think she had his number though, because after they have their little trauma bond moment,
oh my God,
then she kind of starts calling him out. And again, he's saying it's all Christine. She just wanted the attention. And I really wanted us to not adopt you. I was trying to get it to not happen.
Which is such a fucked up thing to say to somebody.
Right. It was all bullshit. They talk about all this other stuff, the school removal, the false narratives.
She's like, why did you lie? And he was like, I didn't lie.
I didn't
do
lie.
that.
Right.
And she's like, no, I can't even hold a knife. And he was like, no, you held a knife to our bed. And I was like, what the
right. And
then she was like, so, but you knew the Cicconi's, like you talked to them. He was like, I'd never met them in my life. And I was like, why didn't a producer just walk up to him and give him the emails? That's what I would have done if I was there. I'd been like,
I know.
Talk to us about this for one hot second.
Right. Read this for one moment.
Was that your email, Michael at, dumbass at
.net.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
At AOL.
Well, and basically he was just saying, well, I didn't lie, but I didn't tell the truth. Like that was his stance. Is like, I didn't lie to you, but we just didn't tell the truth.
Right. We just,
get the fuck out of here. So, but then we get to the tea from the first season where, no, wait, that was later. Let me take that back. After this meeting, then there's this allegation that Natalia attacked one of the the family she was with, one of their children, and they had kicked her out of the home. And this comes like out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And we're like, what do we? So now all of a sudden, now people are like, well, wait a minute. Is Natalia really like innocent?
Right.
Is there something more going on the mans aren't telling us? The mans say, no, that never happened. Christine must have saw the documentary and made a false report.
Right, because she's like, Natalia went to the hospital not after the show aired, but when she was an adult, but she was with the man's family.
Right.
And I don't know if you saw those notes, but those notes came from an epically sourced EMR. So there's probably
they were legitimate.
Little. I could guess where she probably went, but
I think
But when you're in the hospital, they have to call your family. So if and at that time she was not legally adopted by the man's family, so she was still technically a Barnett.
Right.
So I'm guessing the hospital called Christine and or Michael. Probably when Michael didn't answer, he said, "Girl's not at the phone right now. Bye."
Right.
But Christine probably answered and was like, "Oh, no, she's like maybe she was talking about their own family. I don't know. Like I don't know. The whole thing was really odd.
It was very odd, and there were no answers to that situation. But it did start to like what's going on here with the mans, and we'll get to that.
I do have to just make one note.
Please.
I don't know if you noticed this or if you looked this up. So they talk. It's one of the very early episodes where one of the they went to a therapist with Natalia, And they named the therapist. I Googled.
We did too.
Did you see all the nasty reviews?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's not funny, but it is kind of funny.
It is kind of funny. But if that person said what they really said.
Oh yeah, it was pretty bad. We won't go into it.
We won't go into it.
But they basically said that she like, this therapist basically like lied about everything.
Yeah, she's
but then people
practicing.
People flocked to the Google page and gave her nasty fucking reviews
about
after this came
right.
out. Oh my God. It was.
Yeah. Kind of feel bad for her, but also like.
Yikes. Well,
what are you doing?
Well.
What are you doing? So then after all that, so we go through that random thing, and then we get to the tea from the first season at the end, where there was an allegation against Michael that Freddie had said.
The like pro wrestler, like
that
famous
right.
little.
So he's back in session, and he says, yes, Christine was trying to set me up on a date with Natalia, who was 7, and Michael said he didn't know about that. Michael said, I didn't know about that. And the allegation was that Michael and Natalia were having sex.
Yeah, basically that Christine said that like Natalia had like seduced Michael and that they were fucking, and they both had a really hilariously visceral reaction. They were like, no.
Right.
Oh.
Right. So again, we don't know like what's going on, who's hiding what at this point.
I can't.
We talk more about the pepper spray. He said, I never knew that, and receipts come back in because he did know. He absolutely did know.
In the first
there was recording. Yep, in 2022.
Yeah.
Doubles down on the knife thing, like you said. So now here's maybe more for us. They talk about some of her diagnoses when she initially was being assessed and everything, and she was diagnosed with reactive attachment disorder.
Sure.
Which is very common in adoptions.
Yeah.
They have a difficulty connecting with the new family because of the trauma they've experienced before.
Yeah.
So some of her behaviors would fall into this category of like, was she hiding knives because she was trying to defend herself? Maybe she felt threatened. She was
right. If let's just say all the abuse was happening as it was. I mean, that would make sense.
Even before. Like Barnett aside.
Yeah.
Like, we know she experienced stuff before.
Oh yeah. But that's a normal kind of. I hate to say it like that, but it is a normal kind of response to that.
Right. And then she's living with chronic pain, where she's getting no support, no resources, no nothing for that. They're not
giving her a lot of treatment for it either. Yeah.
And then here's some of the other things. So she was diagnosed with a mood disorder, probably. Psychosis, no.
No,
she's a child, and schizophrenia.
No,
so
too far. Even if she was re-aged, any good practicing clinician would have seen that there are no observable signs of psychosis in her. Like
when
Christina Michael could have said any number of things,
right?
But if I would talk to a patient, they were like, I don't know. Like you talk to her for 5 minutes, she's not.
Well, yeah, you see her being interviewed.
Yeah.
She's fine.
No.
Now, but here's the sad part: she was probably on those medications that treat those things.
Yeah, that is, yeah.
An adult level. So that's what's sad thing. So again, there's more talk about the Ukraine and her being there, and there's some questions and some sketchy things there. Like the hospital she was born at, they lost her birth records in a sewer accident. Like what? The judge that handled the adoption was fired for corruption. You know, my thought was like, was she being like trafficked? Like, was this like a traffic situation? Like, what is all of that? So there's some more about that. Again, and this is all happening as they're kind of going back and forth with the second meeting with Michael and Natalia. So again, he's really just going back again to it's about him and how he's a victim. He hasn't seen his sons. And I get it. Yes, we get it. And then it changes. And I don't know. I don't know how I feel. I'm curious to hear how you feel. He starts to say that he's sorry.
He has like a legitimate
mental
breakdown.
She wore him down.
On camera mental breakdown.
And it, I don't know. Some of it seemed okay. Some of it didn't. She forgives him, and then she prays for him.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Oh my God. Let's just pause and talk about this because I have so many thoughts. So yeah, it basically happens where she kind of like wears on him. You can see him kind of like physically be like, oh fuck. And then he finally says, he's like, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And he stops kind of
45 minutes ago, you could have said that and it'd be done.
And I was like, okay, finally he's saying he's sorry. And he doesn't like put any qualifiers on it. He's like, I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
And he finally says sort of like the version I was trying to say, which was like, I'm sorry I didn't do all these things. And he starts just like having like a sob fit. He just starts sobbing, which is fine. And she's just kind of sitting there awkwardly, and you can kind of tell. And then she finally is just like, Michael, like, I forgive you. And then he starts sobbing harder.
Yeah.
And again, like it makes it like for all the horrible things that have happened to the both of them, like, and then together, but then can I pray for you? And I'm thinking she means like at her bedside at night. I'm not thinking
she means right
this
there.
Bitch stands up,
lays on hands.
Right. Michael gets up and he's on his knees and she's standing up, so like they're about the same height. He's just like sobbing, like
it was like she was the next, like he was the next pope.
She was like a healer,
ordained.
Like, and she was, and I didn't even listen to. I couldn't even tell you what she said, but she was just like, I just want to pray for Michael. And he's just sobbing, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, this is so weird. And then he's like trying to like kind of like hug her but not hug her, and then he kind of like puts his head on like his hand on her head, which was weird. And then like they get up and I'm thinking like, I don't know, like there wasn't a moment that I was like, oh, they should hug, but like you'd think that they'd be like, you know what, like do you want to hug, like what do you want to do? And then he does this really awkward like hand, like
ugh,
oh my god, I wanted to, and she can't really do it because of her like her hand, and so he's like trying to like shake her hand,
but she can hold
like,
a fucking knife,
right? Yeah. He's trying to like shake her hand and also like give her like a high five, and then like bro hug her, and it was a hot, and then he just gets up and leaves.
Right,
him and his wife just rolled the fuck out of there,
and he's just happy as a lark.
Yeah, stops crying and just walks.
Right, he's good. So that's where I'm like, I don't know if she was playing him.
I wish that they would have had like a therapist present, because I feel like that was such a emotionally charged thing that was almost like in a weird way. I was like, they should have had somebody like there. But not facilitating it, but like in case either of them wanted to talk like after that.
Yeah, that's true.
Because that was so, especially for her, because I feel like for him it's like,
I'm sure it was re-traumatizing for her.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
She was 100% re-traumatized with this whole thing.
You could see her dissociating at points.
Oh yeah,
and flashing back. Oh
yeah, it was. Yeah. That part was hard to take as a person and as a therapist. I was like, wow. I was like, she's like,
right.
I thought that was a little, I don't want to say negligent, but I thought it was a little like.
Right.
They should have either cut in different people in those points, or they should have just not had her talk about it. Anyways.
Right.
But yeah, then he rolls the fuck out of there, and then she and Antoine are just there, and they pray, and I'm like, okay, here we go.
But so I don't know. I don't know what got resolved. I don't know who's playing who. I think they're both playing. I think Michael's trying to get Natalia on his side.
He wants sympathy
because he wants to take Christine down.
Oh yeah. And I think they're actively working on a case against Christine still.
I do
because
too.
There was a lot of stuff that they did not talk about that I was like, I bet you, if anything, they're trying to get more.
I think so too.
Oh yeah.
But I think Natalia too is playing a game where she wants answers, and so I think she's trying to get him on her side. Nice, yeah. So she can then be like, okay, look, we're like buddies now. So like, what's the tea? Yeah. Because he would not talk about the re-aging. Yeah, he said, I will not answer any questions.
And they didn't. She did respect that, because after that was a part of the first one too. He was like, we're not going to talk about the re-aging, and that was like the first thing she asked him, and she was like, oh, okay. And then they never brought it up again. Right. Which I thought was kind of shitty. I'm like, if you're gonna do this, like,
I think that's part of what they're, and we didn't talk about this, but the one episode we skipped over, they talk about how like Christine really may have known what was going on when they were in Canada. Yeah. And was trying to pin it on Michael because he came back. Yeah. But really there are messages and things they kind of talked about that really shows that she knew what was happening, and she was withholding information that really would put her liable. Yeah. Which would be a different charge than what her court case got dismissed from the last time. So So anyways, so we don't know what's going on there. And then it ends with Natalia gets officially adopted by the Mans
family, which that court hearing was so. That judge was. That
judge hilarious. Was like, so what's the fuck? What's going on with your age?
Are you?
Right, literally. She was like,
well, regardless, you're an adult, so like.
Well, at first I was like, oh, is this not gonna work? Because she literally was like, what the fuck's going on with your age? Yeah. And then she was like, okay, just kidding, they adopted you. Sure. It was kind of cute. I'm not gonna lie.
It
was
a little precious.
It was a little precious. I know. It was cute.
She got her name legally changed, so she's not Barnett anymore. She's Mans or whatever it is.
It was kind of cute. Said she wants to get her age changed back to the correct one. She wants to get her GED and move forward. She wants to write a book. Great. All great. You think great. We've found some closure. Yeah. Well then. Well,
buckle up.
Buckle up, bitches, because season 3
it's gonna
coming at you quick. Yeah. Because it ends with this. It's a phone call, and it's Anton, whatever his name is, saying Natalia's tweaking. Natalia's tweaking. And I quote.
Tweaking. That was the word you used.
She's tweaking only about herself. They're done with her. She lied about something.
And this is not the first time she's done this or something like that. She's done this before. We've had issues with her before.
And even the wife, Cynthia, was on there saying it too. You heard her say it. Yeah. And that, I don't know.
And then it was like, Natalia will return at
Right.
the end. And I was like, okay,
So this is where I'm like, okay,
no, we're done. I'm done. I cannot watch anything more
like,
of
are we
this.
doing this because now you're like, oh shit, like we've had too much closure, and we just got involved and we like the money, we like the attention. That's where my brain goes immediately.
Yeah,
like,
I will not probably watch anything more because there's really nothing to
well,
me.
don't you worry, dear listeners, I will.
Yeah, Kyle will. And then we can talk about it.
And then we'll talk shit about
Well,
it.
I might watch it if we do an episode on it, but it's just I don't like. There's nothing more to tell. Like, and if they're gonna follow her with the man, same like that's all fine and dandy. Like,
Right.
go right ahead.
But we're not. This isn't going to become a TLC like
Oh, this is
15
like the
kids
Maury
and
Povich,
counting.
Jerry
Right?
Springer,
like, no,
like-
I'm not. We're not doing that.
Honey Bear or whatever, Honey Boo Boo, or
Honey
like
Boo
this
Boo,
is
right,
what it's like. This
right.
is what's
Mama
turning into.
June,
Yeah, this is
right.
like a Kate plus 8. Like,
We're not
no,
doing it.
we're
No,
not,
I'm not
can't.
doing it.
I cannot.
I
I will
know.
not watch
I
a
know.
reality show with her on it.
So we'll
see.
reconvene in season 3, I guess. But what do you think? Any other things we haven't talked about that you had some impressions?
No, I just.
It's a mess. It's
Yeah,
no one is a
felt-
winner.
Honestly, I will say this, and I don't mean it like in a. This is gonna come off mean. It's fine.
No,
It's
please.
okay.
It's our podcast.
They know how mean I am. It's fine.
They know.
I don't. I was kind of bored, like watching this season. I was just like Justin and I started watching. Then Justin was like, "Just tell me what happens," because he's like, "This is kind of boring," and like there was just a lot of like, I wished it was more like cohesive of like.
It was really just a review of the first season,
Yeah,
but from
and
Natalia's eyes.
and then they kind of talked about some stuff, and then like I said, they the sexual talk. I really wish they would have. They kind like we didn't get into all of it, but they basically talked to her about it. And she was like, "Yeah, well, maybe I did say this. I don't know." And then they just glossed over it, and that made me feel really like I don't know. I was like, "There's something."
Yeah.
There was just a lot of things that I wish they would have talked more about. I don't know.
really just became
And then I said my biggest thing, which was like, again, I'm not trying to take away from her experience. I'm not trying to say she didn't experience a lot of crappy shit.
Of course.
But like, there just is something off about it. And like, but also like when you've
Mm-hmm.
been in that situation and you need to get your needs met, like you will do it however you need to do
right,
it. And I'm not
right,
saying that's wrong
right.
or right for her, but
But it's what it is.
Yeah, but it's definitely like.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think this season became like Michael says this or the Barnetts say this and Natalia says this. And
Yeah.
it's really just two stories. There was no like,
And
okay.
I wish they would have had more collateral like people involved. Like they did have some, but then after a while, it just became like Natalia versus Michael, and it was like okay,
Right. And Beth narrating, basically.
love Beth.
Love Beth.
Beth, please come on our podcast.
Right. Right. We should write
I feel
to
like
her.
I missed Michael. I think I should have been a lawyer. Truly, I think I should have been a lawyer.
Oh, Lord.
Oh my god, I would have loved it. Anyways, but yeah, no, I don't want to ever see him. I'm so sorry, Michael. I just don't ever want to see him or hear from him again. I mean, it's just there's
Yeah,
nothing
I
more to
think-
be said. Like
right.
his story is done.
Right.
I would love to hear from the kids,
Right.
Jacob and his brothers,
Right.
at some point in life. Anyways, that's
yeah,
my
I think
closing thoughts.
I agree. I think
Would love to hear from Christine. She also declined to be interviewed.
would
for the
love
second
right,
season.
Christine, if you're listening, we would love to hear from you.
don't
We
wanna
would love
talk to
to hear
her.
your
I do not
side
wanna
of the
talk to
story.
her. She-
That'll be me only then. That'll just be one tired
A phone call.
therapist. one tired therapist. Yeah, and I agree though. I think there probably are some things Natalia did that weren't right either. But
Well,
like you
but
said,
she
she was
was
in
also a
survival. She was a
kid.
child, right? So
Nobody
Nobody
that they did,
wins.
nothing that they did to her justifies it. Period.
No,
nothing that she ever
no,
did justified how
no.
they treated her. Period. And that's the part I feel bad about. And there were a lot of people in the documentary who were like, yeah, the system failed her, and that's what I said in the first one.
Yeah.
The system totally failed her.
Absolutely.
And it's not failing her as much, but it's still not doing really great for her.
No, she's not. No, it's it's like the Reddit things, right? Like, am I the asshole? It's like everyone kind of is.
Everyone sucks here.
Everyone sucks here.
ESH. Everyone sucks here.
ESH.
Yeah.
So there you go. So let us know what you think about
Oh my God.
Natalia Grace.
Yes.
We'd love to hear about it.
Yes.
So let's round us out.
Oh
We
my
haven't
God.
done a nice gay or straight
Oh my
in a
God.
little bit. I've also
Is
kept
it
a list. It is not themed.
Okay, great.
I've just been keeping a list of random things
Oh.
that come to mind. I do have a theme I need to do later. I did not prepare for
Okay.
that.
I love it.
So there's just random things. They're just random things. So gay or straight?
Sure.
Okay. A water pick.
Straight.
I think it's straight too.
Straight.
I think it's
That's
straight too.
Straight.
Yeah, I think so too. That's straight. Even though I have one, I love it, but it's straight.
You like it?
Oh, I love it. Oh,
Justin's supposedly supposed to get one. but
revolutionary.
My mom used to have one.
Revolutionary.
I don't know if I liked it.
Hot water.
Straight.
I think it's straight too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
straight.
Cold water.
Straight girls. That's really what hot water
Oh,
is.
okay.
You ever see the memes that are like, this is
Oh,
like, I like
yeah,
to
yeah,
shower
yeah.
with my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Justin will attest.
Straight.
It's like right out of hell.
Yeah, yeah. Cold water.
Straight.
See, I think straight too. Yeah, I think straight too.
This is the theme. Everything is straight.
Everything's straight. The Color Purple, the movie.
Straight?
I think it's straight too.
Yeah,
I know.
I don't.
Strangely
yeah,
enough,
that
it's a
took me
musical,
minute,
but I think it's
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, no, it's straight.
The Color Purple, the color. Yeah, I think it's gay,
Gay.
too. Yeah, it's
I
gay.
love purple. Gay.
Second opinions.
Oh, like from like a doctor? Are we
Yeah,
talking about? Oh,
like a
okay.
second opinion. Yeah,
Straight.
I think it's straight too.
That's a Karen thing. Yeah.
This
Not true, but
this one might throw you. Diversity.
straight.
I think
It's for the straights. It's
I
not.
think
It
it
is
is
not
too.
for. Yeah.
I think it is too. The letter B.
It's gay.
You think?
Yes.
Okay. I would say straight. Interesting.
I don't know why. It's just what my heart tells me.
Right.
My heart.
But that's what we
was
go
just-
with.
Yeah.
That's what we go with on
My
this
heart
podcast.
just said gay, and that's what I said.
Interesting. And then lastly, Post-it notes.
Straight.
See, I think that's gay.
Really?
Yeah. Post-it notes? Are you kidding me?
Interesting. I would say straight.
Okay. Okay. Well, we did good
Wait, it's
until we
okay.
got to the letter B and Post-it notes. Very
Divisive
Very
topics.
divisive topics there. We'll have to post those.
Are we talking about post-it notes that are like squares, or are we talking about like fun post-it notes? Because fun post-it notes are straight. Square might be gay. I might be able to get on that
you're
one.
onto something.
Okay.
I think that's it. Like themed, like it's
Themed,
like a
yeah.
smiley face or something.
Yeah, that's straight.
Yeah.
But like regular
Square,
post-its,
like yellow. Yeah,
I can get on gay for that. Yeah.
yeah, that's what I was thinking when I wrote this. The letter B though, straight. No,
I
you
think
said
it's-
gay.
I said gay.
Hmm.
As someone whose last
I'll
name
ponder.
starts with B, I
I'll
think it is
ponder.
gay.
I'll ponder that. Great. There you go. Well,
Love it.
What more do you want?
Nothing more.
Nothing more. There's nothing. We've
we've
given
given
you
them
everything. Yeah.
This episode had everything.
Producer Justin has his like hand on the like cancel, like stop
Yes, like, are you
recording.
guys
Shut up,
ready?
you dumb bitches.
It's time to be done. We're done. Well, kids.
Okay.
Maybe we'll revive the Twilight soon. We'll see.
Yeah, it's in the
Because
works.
this one's
It's
coming
in the
out. This
works.
one's coming out at the end of February.
Yeah,
So.
and then we'll have another one.
Although we've been
coming.
told the buzzed, we might do buzzed Twilight reviews from what the feedback has been from the
Yeah,
others.
yeah.
Apparently, everybody really liked
Everyone
that. I don't
loves the drunken inebriated. Kathy won't. So sorry, Kathy. But everyone else does. So on that note, stay tired.
know. And petty.